barrage of tests, I guess, for your final sort of training session any of the week, so normally Thursday night. So with these tests, you do it at the start of the training session, just to make sure that they can actually get through the movements, get through the test, and then get them into training basically. And then once they pass that, they pretty much tick all the boxes from the physio stuff in the clinic, from the fitness test that you might get them to do, and then also the training as well. So you're pretty confident that if they pass all of that, they should be able to get through the game. So the most common, I guess, iffy sort of injuries that you might be able to sort of push through anyway, your sort of lower limb joint injuries, so like your ankles and your knees. So obviously you can tape them up quite well, and they might pass the hopping test and that sort of stuff in the clinic. So you want to start to get them twisting and turning and jumping and that sort of thing out in the training track. So one of the first ones that I like to do anyway is using a 10 by 10 metre square and just doing a bit of agility sort of work there. So I'll do one demonstration. I might get one of you guys to do it as well. So basically, so again, you just have like don't have cones here unfortunately, but so you have like a 10 by 10 metre square, and then you have a point in the middle as well. So there's three sort of phases you can do this. You can do like a slow jog through, a quicker run through, and then like a really twisting and turning one. So basically the first one, just to make sure they feel confident, is just sort of jogging straight to the middle, jog backwards, turn, go to the corner, turn, middle, backwards, and then going off again. So it's basically doing that 3 to 4 times just around the square. Once they're comfortable with just doing the jog sort of through, they can do more of a quicker one, so more of a sprinty sort of one, so where they really push off and then stop and land, come back, and then pushing off again, like we just did before. So there's a little bit of twisting and turning there, but if they find that they're not comfortable doing that, they won't be able to do anything else basically. So, but if they pass that with flying colours, you can do more of a twisting and turn. So instead of running backwards, you actually get it to turn around and actually sprint backwards. So it's basically running forward, twist, turn, and then basically repeating again as well. So when they can sort of twist and turn in those sort of smaller sort of spots, you'll be pretty confident they can get through a bit of twisting and turning basically. Next you can start to do more of a, I guess, sport specific sort of one. So obviously I do come from more of a footy sort of background, because I use this sort of drill for netball, basketball, soccer and that sort of thing as well. So I might get you to help me out again as well. So basically what you're doing here, you obviously need 2 people, and you're sort of getting each person to lead, dish off a handball or a kick, and then you can sort of just go for goal basically as well. So if we just sort of like run in that direction, just have a nice sort of jog, I can sort of just handball to you, I'll sort of come across, and if I just get you to come back and receive, and then you can go and kick a ball, pass to a teammate, go for goal and that sort of thing. Obviously that's a very slow version. So you'd want to do that on a much larger sort of scale anyway. So if you're doing it on a footy field, you might do that over like a 50-metre arc. Get the players spaced up a fair bit so they can actually kick it like to a lead. You can twist, turn to another direction. It'd be great if the person receiving the ball can't kick, because when they kick the ball it can go bloody anywhere, which means that they might have to twist. The person receiving the ball might have to go get a ground ball, might have to jump up really high, might have to go in different directions. So it works out really, really well that way. You also want to be able to tackle as well. So a lot of people, especially when they do medials and that sort of thing, they just don't want to sort of pummel anyone to the ground. So you basically just go straight onto the person anyway. So start off with just get them shoot, tackle, and then just tackle in the hole. See if they can handle that. Do it on both sides as well. once they feel confident with that, so maybe do like 3 or 4 of them. Once they feel, if they feel confident with that, you can actually get them to tackle and then actually pummel them to the ground, basically. Which I'm not going to do.
You want to go?
I'll do him.
So you can use a tackle bag.
You can use the tackle bag and that sort of stuff as well. Again, same sort of thing. I guess it's when you do tackle someone, you're going to be twisting and turning a little bit. I'd figure when you are going to get tackled, the person's not just going to stay there and stay still. They're going to try to fight you a little bit. And yeah, if they have any sort of don't have any confidence in their ankle or knee, and I guess shoulders, I guess in that sort of respect as well. Yeah, they won't get through training sessions as well. So that sort of leads us to shoulders as well in terms of the joint sort of thing. So tackling, obviously for footy is a very big one, but in most of the sports you're going to have some sort of contact. It's the same sort of thing. You do the soft tackles and then the harder tackle, but a good old hip and shoulder is a good one as well. So basically just start off small and just go a few sort of bumps here and there, and then basically once they feel confident with that, sort of go a bit harder. You can go harder and harder basically, and then so you do the injured side, you do the other side as well. You can sort of see if they have any apprehension when they're doing those sort of tests as well. Normally, like, especially if someone's got like an AC joint problem, that's something that they'll really dislike. But obviously if they can get through it well, and it looks the same as the other side, then I think they'll be pretty confident that they should be okay to get through.
You should be able to do a push-up.
Yeah, so with the push-up and that sort of thing, I use that more as like a clinical test in the clinic. So if they can't do any of that sort of stuff, I probably wouldn't even get them to do any of this sort of stuff yet.
So you wouldn't get them to do like 20 push-ups or something like that?
Well, if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
But so do you do your push-ups flat on the ground or do them as an incline, like, depending on?
I just do it flat on the ground, basically. If they're, you know, you can sort of do like a partial sort of one arm sort of one as well, so really just yank through that arm. And if they're not confident, they won't be able to do to it at all, or if they'll complain of a lot of pain doing that as well. So, but yeah, like with those sort of shoulder joints, it's all about contact basically. So, I mean, these sort of tests, just what we sort of do, but I'm sure that some of you guys would have sort of similar sort of things. And as long as you test them, that's all that matters really, and really test them hard, like tackling and that sort of stuff is the main thing. So, they're the main joint sort of ones. So now we'll go into more of the soft tissue type injuries. So, are you all familiar with like run-through programs and that sort of thing at all? So basically it's sort of, you're setting like a set distance of running basically. Well, we like to use 60 metres. So in that 60 metres you can sort of apply an acceleration phase, a holding phase and a deceleration phase as well. So for something like hamstrings and quads and that sort of thing as well, where they need to go to run at full tilt, you want to slowly build them up to get them running. So what you tend to do is that 20-20-20 initially anyway. So you build up over 20 metres, get them to hold that speed for the 20 metres, and then slowly slow down over 20 metres. So I'll give you a demonstration. So basically you start it from a standing start, get them walking, get into a bit of a quicker walk, get to a jog, and then basically you want to slowly build up to the pace where they want to get to. So you might be like 75% pace, which is sort of like your mid-level running. Hold that for about 20 metres, and then again with a slow down, you want to slowly slow them down, get them jogging, walking, and then stop. I guess over 20 metres, and that's the first few. They should be pretty comfortable with that, especially if you're at this sort of stage of testing anyway. And then what you want to do is slowly decrease their acceleration and deceleration phase as well. So you tend to sort of just do 20 metres and then 10 metres and then basically like a standing start and go. So you might want to do like 3 or 4 of them at each sort of phase. So 3 or 4 at 20-20-20, 3 or 4 at 10, 40, 10, and then just at 60 as well. So, and basically by that stage you get them fully, basically sprinting. And you don't want to do too many of them because they're going to be pumped out by that stage anyway. And if they can't do that, they probably won't be overly comfortable with kicking and running and that sort of thing. So, and that's a nice controlled environment. So you could do that, and I guess in terms of specific sort of stuff as well, I mean, I think it doesn't matter what sport you play, you're always going to have to pick up a ball from the ground and doing sort of ground balls and that sort of thing. So if I can get you just to roll the ball down the ground for me, just towards me. So we want to do a few sort of ground balls and really get into really bend over and pick up and run, potentially run with it as well. So especially for hamstrings anyway, this is a nice stretch of the hamstrings. So if they've got any sort of if they're feeling tentative about it at all, they probably won't like going to the ground at all. So is that obviously you do all this high intensities, and you go into sort of small sort of quarters as well. Get them to really test them out over a big space. And so it doesn't have to be just directly toward you. It could just be at an angle as well. And you want to test that out as well because nothing's ever going to be perfect during the game. You want to try to simulate like game style sort of situations as much as you can, but in a controlled environment. There's that, and I guess in terms of other soft tissue stuff like corkies and that sort of thing, it's all that springy sort of stuff that I struggle to do. So I guess like your quads and your calves, you can do that running, the run through sort of stuff as well. But you also want to get them to do a bit of like jumping up as well. So basically, if I can just get you to just throw the ball up in the air for me. So you want to get them to sort of jump up off that either sore calf or like a sore leg basically. So you get them to do it a couple of times, just get them up and then land and then potentially incorporate into a drill as well. So mark and then dish off to a person, or mark, run, kick the goal. And then just get some bit of spring in their legs as well. So you want to do that probably 8 to 10 times, just to make sure they're quite comfortable doing it. Get them to jump off both legs as well, so you can sort of see if there's any apprehension between the two sides. And that's pretty much about it. So pretty much with all of those sort of tests, you can sort of apply it to any sort of injury that you want, really. I guess you just have to figure out what they need to be able to do. So obviously with your joints, the twisting, turning, jumping, with your soft tissue stuff, it's hitting that high end sort of speed, explosiveness and that sort of thing. So hopefully with a couple of those sort of things that we've gone through, it just gives you a couple of ideas to get them going just before training. And if they pass that, if they do training and get through that okay, hopefully they'll be okay for the game. So you can never guarantee it. Players will always get injured no matter what the situation really, but at least you've done everything you could just to make sure we tick all the boxes. So.